This is the Focusrite Clarett Plus 8 Pre, the revamped flagship unit from the Red brand's upper-tiered audio interface line. It's the one to get when you've gotten serious about your studio gear and you're ready to upgrade from the Scarlett series. And this is the new PreSonus Quantum HD8, the newest top-of-the-line rack-mount interface from the Blue brand, which promises to deliver a quantum leap in audio clarity and performance and is the culmination of 3 decades of PreSonus innovation. Which one should you buy? Let's put them head to head, talk about the differences, and find out which one I'm going to keep. This video is not sponsored by anybody, I just think it's a great comparison as these are two of the more popular audio interface brands at the same price point. And while I am not a scientific measurements guy, I'll try to provide as much useful information as I can. I only ask that if you end up finding this video helpful, consider not only hitting that subscribe button and notification bell, but using my links in the description to help support the channel. Let's start off with the software included to see who has the better bundle. With Focusrite, you get Hitmaker Expansion, which includes plugins like Auto-Tune Access and Vox Doubler for vocals, a Marshall amp model for guitar, Addictive Keys plugins for piano and drums, and Native Instruments Massive to add some synth. You also get Ableton Live Lite, the Focusrite SC channel strip from Brainworks, the Red 2 and 3 EQ and compressor, as well as Fast Balancer to help polish your mix, and a 2-month subscription to Lander for mastering. And finally, a 3-month subscription to Avid Pro Tools Artist and the complete plugin bundle to get you started. With the Quantum HD8, you get a 12-month subscription to Studio One Plus, which has all the bells and whistles you could want, including PreSonus Fat Channel, EQs, channel strips, compressors, limiters, tons of add-ons, plus when your 12-month subscription is up, you still have a perpetual license so you'll forever own Studio One Professional. When I look at what's offered, I feel like PreSonus offers the better bundle. Yes, you get an assortment of plugins with the Clarett Plus, but Lander and Pro Tools Artist with the complete plugin bundle are only 2 to 3 month trials. After that, you're out of luck and you'll have to pay monthly or yearly if you want to continue. With PreSonus, no matter what, you have a DAW for life since you'll always have Studio One Professional once your 12-month subscription to Studio One Plus is up. Not only that, but when you compare both software mixers, Focusrite Control to Universal Control, you'll find they're about the same as far as being user-friendly, but hats off to PreSonus as you can download Universal Control to a tablet, even your phone, and control your parameters and functions from there, making it one of the most versatile control softwares on the market. Winner, PreSonus. This one is pretty straightforward. Both are USB-C, both have an advertised dynamic range of 124 dB. They're even priced the same at $999, but where the difference lies is in the resolution. While the Clarett Plus 8 Pre is 24-bit 192K, the Quantum HD8 is 32-bit 192K, and whether you can hear an audible difference in terms of resolution is debatable. On paper, the HD8 is better, and so winner, PreSonus. Both interfaces have 8 built-in preamp/line inputs, with all 8 of the PreSonus preamps on the back of the unit, while the Clarett Plus has 2 on the front that also double as high-Z JFET instrument inputs and 6 on the back. Instead of putting preamps on the front, PreSonus has chosen to instead add 2 instrument inputs co-developed by Fender, so they should excel with your guitar, and 2 reamp outputs so you can send a dry pre-recorded guitar signal to an external amplifier for more processing. The Clarett Plus preamps feature an all-analog air mode, which recreates the sound of Focusrite's popular ISA mic pre's and can deliver up to 57 dB of gain, while the all-new Max HD preamps on the HD8 feature auto gain, so you can have the interface set your gain to the perfect recording level and deliver up to a whopping 75 dB of gain. You'll never need a cloud lifter again. In my time with the Clarett Plus, I never really found myself reaching for the air function, as it seems to just boost a bit on the high end. I'd rather record clean and EQ in post. I also found myself having to crank the gain to the max to get my SM7B signal at a good level. With the HD8, I don't have to crank the gain all the way up, and auto gain seems to set my recording level just right, versus other interfaces I've tried where I found myself still adjusting afterward. While I don't have the tools to get a scientific measurement of the preamp noise, I still wanted to provide something, so I maxed out the gain on both units with nothing connected, and this is what I got. The HD8 clearly has more noise at full gain, but since the Clarett Plus is only pushing out 57 dB versus 75, let me do it again, only setting the HD8 at 57 dB of gain to match and see what we get. And now PreSonus has lower noise, at least in this scenario. Now keep in mind that preamp noise is often blown out of proportion. As long as you're setting your gain level correctly, noise won't be an issue, and with the auto gain feature, it'll never be a concern. So you've got auto gain and 75 dB of gain, but there's still one huge factor you need to know about that makes PreSonus the clear winner in this category, and it's the fact that when you plug in external gear into the line inputs of the HD8, you will bypass the preamps and go straight into the converter. You cannot bypass the preamps of the Clarett Plus 8 Pre. Focusrite even has a statement on their site about this, claiming that the preamps are so transparent they won't color the sound, but I'm positive you're going to want to bypass them anyway, and so despite everything else talked about, for this reason, winner PreSonus. Connectivity is also straightforward, as the Clarett Plus 8 Pre comes with SPDIF in and out, MIDI in and out, an ADAT in and out for an extra 8 channels, word clock out, and 10 balanced line inputs. The Quantum HD8 improves that number by offering 2 sets of ADAT in and out for up to 16 channels, MIDI and SPDIF in and out via this breakout cable, word clock in and out, and 10 DC coupled balanced line outputs. More connectivity wins this section, once again, winner PreSonus. Now let's talk about the build, and not so much build quality, as both units are built well, but the differences they have and which one I prefer. Now we talked about preamps and instrument inputs earlier, and while I think you'll love the HD8's front inputs if you play guitar, I'd much rather have 2 mic preamps on the front so I can connect a microphone quickly instead of having to get to the back of the unit in my cart. At the very least, I would have been happy had they put 1 instrument input and reamp output on the front alongside a preamp line input, so in this case I prefer the 8 Pre. I appreciate the PreSonus is only about 8.5 inches deep, as the Focusrite is 10 inches, not a huge difference, but any room I can save in the back of my rack just means my other gear has more room to breathe. I also prefer PreSonus's big knob approach instead of the small knobs of the 8 Pre, and while some may prefer the 8 Pre's headphone knobs, I'm okay with the single big knob solution PreSonus took, and now that I've used it, actually prefer it. On the flip side, I get that blue is PreSonus's signature color, but would have preferred the traditional green, orange, and red color scheme of the Clarett Plus's LED meters, and there's no denying the 8 Pre has a much bigger and better LED screen. Between the aesthetics and preferable placement of preamps, winner Focusrite. They both have updated and improved low noise and low distortion converters for pristine clarity, and in this day and age, just about every interface is going to sound fantastic compared to the Tascam Porta Studios some of us started out with. And these are no exception, as I went back and forth between both units a number of times and really couldn't tell a difference. Maybe, just maybe, I feel like the PreSonus had more of a top end, as hi-hats seemed to cut through the mix a bit more, but both units sound great. When it comes to perceived loudness, I found the headphone outputs were about level matched when the PreSonus was set to about 75% of the gain, while the Clarett Plus headphone outputs were much louder, with only about 25% of the gain getting the same loudness on my ATH M50Xs. I'm not sure how that translates with other headphones, but the Focusrite's headphone outputs were significantly louder. When it comes to monitor output, it was harder to gauge since I had to manually switch TRS cables every time, but they seemed much more evened out, as both units sounded close to about the same loudness at around 50% of the max gain. Because the Clarett Plus has noticeably louder headphone outputs, winner Focusrite. It's important to note that PreSonus custom builds their own low latency drivers, and we can see the results of that as the HD8 continuously has lower latency numbers than the Clarett Plus. Winner, PreSonus. If you haven't figured it out by now, PreSonus pretty much dominated this matchup and is the audio interface I'm sticking with going forward. You own Studio One Professional forever, you can bypass the preamps with external gear, more connectivity, and better latency for the same price. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, give this video a thumbs up and let me know if there's something you'd like to see reviewed on this channel. That's going to wrap things up for today. I'll see you next time.